Right, buddy. Newcastle up next for Manchester United. These are going to be the five things to expect from the game. We'll be talking predicted team tactics, some interesting news points from Carrick's presser. We've got some updates on Martinez, Maguire, Shaw as well, which we'll talk about. So the first thing we always talk about is the Manchester United team. Now, Carrick said in his press conference that Maguire and Shaw, that it was just illness. There was no injury concerns. They were just ill during the week. He said they will be assessed in the next coming days. Well, not the next coming day, tomorrow, or when you're watching this today, for the game against Newcastle. So, listen, there could be injury concerns. I think Shaw, I wouldn't risk him, and neither so would Maguire, but we'll talk about what that means for United. I think Maguire should be fine. I don't know about Shaw, though, if we're being honest. So, yeah, in terms of everyone else, Mount and De Ligt are still out. Martinez has been ruled out for this game. So, let's talk about the Manchester United team now. I think it'll obviously be Lamont in goal, a back four of Dalot, Mazraoui. If Maguire's fit, he starts, and Lenny Euro next to him. If Maguire's not fit, you're looking at a Heaven and Euro partnership, which, to be honest, I do worry about. It's not that I don't think the quality players, and just in the atmosphere, the occasion, Newcastle are going to be up for it at St James Park. I think we really do need Maguire in this game. I think his presence, his experience, and his quality will be vital in this game, and especially without Martinez. And De Ligt being out, we don't really have anyone else who can come in. I still back Heaven and Euro to do a job, but I do worry about the inexperience there. Obviously, Mazraoui left back is Shaw's not fit. I think Mazraoui, as I said, I talked in the preview, Mazraoui for me should be the left back over Dalot at left back. I know Mazraoui is better right back than Dalot, but Dalot's just not a great left back, so I'd have Mazraoui out there. And I thought he did a decent job. I know we lose the width, but again, yeah, I think that would be the back four. Casemiro mainly in midfield. I actually thought United's game against Villa was this weekend. It's actually not. So United will have enough time off. So Casemiro should be fine to play this game. So to Mainu, Bruno in a 10. And I'd go in Burmo, SESKO and Cunha. Now, listen, we did lose a lot of width in the game against Palace. There was no one on the outside. Mazraoui was tucking in, Cunha was tucking in. And we did lose quite a bit of width. And I think that is a bit of a problem. But I think in terms of midfield and attack, I think that would be the attack that I'd go for. I do have a lot of trust in the attack. I think there's a lot of quality in there, and I think there's some important players that we can definitely cause problems. And you have Ahmad to bring off the bench. So that's my team. Now let's talk United's threat. Listen, it is Bruno, if we're being honest. Bruno, for me, has been United's best player this season. He's been fantastic in every game. I know Newcastle are a tough team, and we haven't beaten them at St James Park since 2020. Again, it's a tough place to go, but United do need the points, and I think that is something that matters. If we're pushing for third or potentially second, we need these sort of points, and it's going to be a tough game. And Bruno talked about how, I watched the interview that he did, I think with the Premier League, he talked about how United are going to need to be calm and need to manage the first 15 minutes well, because Newcastle fans are going to come out soaring, the players are going to come out fighting, and it's going to be a quite tricky atmosphere. So United need to try and slow the game down to kind of avoid pressure, really. In terms of how, again, I think the right hand side looked particularly good in that game. Bruno was drifting out to the left, though. I think we do lose a lot of width. I think Cunha, he's just not a natural left winger, and that's why we do see him drifting quite a bit, which is natural for him, his sort of player. I think obviously Mazraoui as well, we do lose a lot on the overlap as well, so hopefully Shaw is available for that. In terms of other threats that we have, I know SESKO, he's on great form, and I think he is a threat. I think in terms of that Newcastle defence, they concede a bit of goals, but SESKO is a physical player, and I think he's someone who hopefully will get a goal in this game. I think we need his quality, we know the presence that he has and the physicality that he demands, and I think it's going to be absolutely vital seeing how he plays in this game. So that's Manchester United. Let's talk Newcastle. Now, they're missing quite a few players. I think Livramento's out, and a few others. Nick Waltemader's out. There's been an illness going around in the squad, so they will be missing a few players, which gives United an advantage. Newcastle are a team who again have the better of United. I know we beat them early this season, but away from home for Manchester United, Newcastle have been very good at beating United. They beat us 4-1 at St James Park last season, and they have a very, very good record in that stadium. So it's a tricky place to go. Newcastle, as I said, have a lot of players. They brushed aside Karabag, but they did lose in their last game against Everton. And we know the sort of quality that they have. They're missing their captain as well, Bruno Guimaraes. So they are missing a lot of top players for them, but they still have quality. Tonali, Joe Linton, Johan Wissa, like players. Harvey Barnes scored, and players who can cause problems. So I think it's definitely a concern to see the quality that they have. I think it's going to be a tricky game, to say the least. So yeah, let's see what does happen there. In terms of that, I think Newcastle again, they're a physical team. To play against, they're a good ball playing team. They can put crosses into the box, and again, as I said, St James Park is a tricky place to go. But again, they did lose their last game there. Now the fourth thing I want to talk about is Champions League is key. And listen, I know we know that it allows us to attract more players, more revenue, more opportunities, more games. It's quite self-explanatory, but these sorts of games are the ones that slip United up. I know we've been saying that about every game, but Newcastle away is a tricky game and it's never easy to go to. I think United have to prepare well. We have to go into the game fighting, and that third place or potentially even second place is there. As I said, City have a difficult game. Do they have a difficult game? Who was City? Oh, City play Forest, I think, at home. So again, there's potential there to drop points, and I think United, if we keep winning, we somehow have just found that way to get the job done against teams this season, which has been something that I've been really impressed about. So yeah, listen, Champions League is key. Now the fifth and final thing is the result. Listen, Newcastle score goals. They scored 2 against Everton. They scored 9 in total against Karabag. So they're on a great bit of scoring streak. Gordon's getting goals. And yeah, they're a very good team. I know from set pieces, Malik Thiaw and Dan Burn are two very physical centre backs and can definitely score goals. On the other hand, though, you look at Manchester United, 2 goals against Palace. We could have had a few more. Casemiro missed a few chances. There were other chances here and there. So listen, I think there will be goals in the game. I think it's going to be 2-1 Manchester United. I think it's going to be a narrow victory. Listen, I hope it'll be much more. I'll even take a scrappy 1-0 win. Like, getting a win at St James Park has been tough for any team, especially Manchester United. So that 1-0 win, a 2-1 scrappy, I'll take it. But I think the team go into the game with a lot of confidence. With the team with the most form in the Premier League, we have the most quality right now, and again, Carrick has done wonders with this team. We're unbeaten in our last game. SESKO scoring goals. Yes, we haven't seen much from Mbeumo and Cunha in terms of output. I know Mbeumo got an assist and Cunha had a big part to play in the penalty, but in terms of goals wise, hopefully they can chip in with a few goals. But again, it's going to be a tough game, a nervy game, but I'm hoping Manchester United can get the win. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.